The Great Flood destroying all life on Earth is an epic found in societies throughout the ancient world. Traditionally, the Bible dated the story of Noah building an ark to survive such a flood at 2300 BC. But some experts believe that the biblical account found in the book of Genesis that tells the story of Noah is in some way from an earlier Mesopotamian myth. Tablets found in the library of the Mesopotamian king Ashurbanipal from the 8th century BC were covered in cuneiform markings, an early form of writing. These tablets helped experts to decipher the literary masterpiece Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is the mythical story of a king from the very beginnings of civilization in Mesopotamia. One passage in the epic reads, "For 6 days and 7 nights came the flood, the wind." The tablet went on to describe how the ark, built on the instructions of the gods, stayed on a high mountain. The myth also described 3 occasions when the survivors sent out birds to look for land. The similarities between the Genesis account and that on the tablets were extraordinary. The story of Gilgamesh takes the flood back to at least his time, 3000 BC. But we know from the list of kings that a series of rulers came before Gilgamesh, but they had lived after the flood. The British Museum staff used the list of kings to date the flood back to before 5000 BC. Connecting the mythological data from Noah's flood to the end of the last ice age was a huge breakthrough, as scientists believed that the ending of an ice age could indeed create the conditions which would cause a great flood. The melting ice causes the global sea level to rise slowly. But there are some low-lying areas around the world containing small lakes, which because of a natural barrier of one form or another, remain isolated from this rise. The water they contain stays at a low level. In some places, the increasing difference in water height across such a natural dam may only be stopped by a few large rocks. The resulting increase in height differences across portals creates a disaster waiting to happen. But could a collapsing portal be the source of the story of Noah? And if so, where was it? The first portal scientists looked at was the Straits of Gibraltar. A huge waterfall had indeed opened it, but that happened 5 million years ago. The Black Sea, with its very narrow, long portal of the Bosphorus, proves to be a more likely location for the story of Noah. Dating saltwater clams from the bottom of the blanket of mud in the Black Sea gave an extraordinary result. They were all the same age. Location or depth didn't make any difference. This suggests that salt water had rushed in, covering the area instantaneously. The date of this event was between 5600 and 5500 BC. Before the disaster, people had come to this Eden around the Black Sea because it was the largest body of fresh water known at the time. Unknown to those who found sanctuary there, the low-lying features placed this land in great danger from the rising salt water behind the portal of the Bosphorus. The first signs of the disaster from the collapsing portal would have been a trembling of the ground, followed by a great roar. This was one of the greatest catastrophes for mankind. This disaster was never forgotten and stayed in the memories of the survivors, who then migrated around the world. Passed down from generation to generation, these legends may indeed be true. Perhaps finally we can solve one of the most terrifying of all ancient mysteries.